Hey, Bill Chaka. Welcome to another edition of the 5 Minute Motivator. I would like to talk today about 6 primary attributes of what leadership is and 1 attribute of what leadership is not. Let me start with the second. What leadership is not. Many people who are not in a leadership role, or by extension a management role, consider leadership and management to be telling people what to do. That is by and far one of the furthest things that a good leader or manager does. You hire the correct people because they know what to do. You create an environment and a culture that allows them to experiment in terms of what to do. So leaders are not individuals that are spending their time telling people what to do. And I think that's a very, very important point, because for non-leaders, they need to understand that. And by the way, if you have an individual that's in a prominent position, a leader and or a manager, and they are continuously telling people what to do, they are probably not that effective in their role. Because the 6 attributes I have here of what leaders actually do, I think, are much more important. Now, keep in mind, this is a non-inclusive list, but I only have 5 minutes here, so I'm doing what I can to give you some good information. The first attribute of a leader that is important, and these are in no particular order, by the way, is this. It's integrity. Integrity. Now, what do I mean by integrity? Integrity, in terms of physics, means a wholeness. Like, for example, the example I like to use is, did you ever hear of an airplane having a structural integrity issues because of metal fatigue? All right, the fuselage is separating. So integrity means coming together as a whole, and it means making tough decisions, even if those decisions are not the most popular decisions. So integrity, I think, is an important point of what leaders do. Vision is the second. It's up to the leader to not only create the vision, but then interpret the vision and help subordinates understand how they can operate toward the vision. So vision is another important part of leadership. The third is influence. Influence, nudging people in the correct direction. And the hope is that the individuals will nudge back. Perhaps the leader may not have the correct answer, the other individuals will, but it was the nudge, the influence, that caused that intellectual dialogue to begin. So influence is another important point of leadership. Yes, I know I'm going fast here. I only have 5 minutes. Something else that leaders do on a consistent basis is give praise. They find reasons to praise individuals. If you think about this, this is really based in psychology. Okay, people, if you take an individual and tell them not to do something, there's a possibility that they won't do it. All right, but if you tell people what they did and what they did correctly, there's a possibility that they will continue that process. So, in other words, instead of telling people what not to do, tell people what to do, and tell them the modality that you use is praise. Make sense? Self-awareness. Leaders have to be self-aware. Leaders have to know that they have to know how they feel on a consistent basis. They have to know if individuals are trying to flip their switch. They have to know which individuals are being honest and forthright with them. So leaders have a level of self-awareness that's extremely important. And then finally, leaders listen. They don't talk, they listen. They gather as much information as possible before making decisions. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me try to recap this. What do leaders do on a consistent basis? They exhibit integrity, they project vision, they have influence, they give praise, they are attuned to themselves in terms of self-awareness, and they are good listeners. What do leaders not do? They don't tell people what to do. They hire the correct people so that those people know what to do. Okay? Chew on this today. List those 6 items that I mentioned in terms of what leaders do. Circle the one that's most important to you, and develop a bit of an action plan for what you can do to have more of that in your own leadership style. Bill Shaka, thanking you for your time. Looking forward to seeing you in the next edition of the 5 Minute Motivator.